Was shot during an assassination attempt in 2011. She has been hosting a series of virtual gatherings highlighting the need for universal background checks. WCBS News Time 7:48. Traffic and weather together on the 8s now, sponsored by Cars for Kids. Tom Kaminsky, Chopper 88.
All right, let's go here to the Neck Bridge. Everything is shut down here as you head Queensbound. Just about a third of the way across the span, we had a collision involving a small camper truck and a pickup truck. We've had injuries here. We've got police activity here and a fuel spill too. So everything is shut down here for at least for the next few minutes. Here at the Neck Bridge, Queensbound. Whitestone Bridge, that's going to be your alternate. It's got quite a bit of alternate volume coming off the Hudge, but at least all the travel lanes are open there now. And we also do have delays on the Bronx-bound side of the Neck Bridge. That's all rubbernecking. Any activity on the Bronx-bound side is now cleared out of the way, so we'll keep you posted there. We've had some delays on the southbound side of Bridge 21, right around Bay Street in Newark. We had a crash in the right lane. Eastbound cross Bronx at the Major Deegan, a collision in the left lane, so delays back to the GWB. Not bad at the tolls, but be mindful of that collision on the cross Bronx if you are inbound at the Lincoln at 15 and Holland at 10. I'm Tom Kaminsky in Shopper 880.
Now would be a great time to clean out your garage and donate that old car to Cars for Kids. Now offering contact-free pickup. Call today, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS, or online at carsforkids.com.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Now the WCBS 5-day forecast. Live to the Weather Center, here is Chief Meteorologist Craig Allen.
In the last hour, the amount of cloudiness has definitely diminished, but there's still a pretty thick patch of clouds over the lower Hudson Valley, especially east side of the river, across into Fairfield County, Connecticut, and a little bit through central Suffolk County. Otherwise, we'll just say a mix of sun and clouds for the area today. 80 to 85, a little more humid than yesterday, but not too bad. 65 to 70 tonight. Tomorrow it stays near 80 with the humidity is up, and there is a chance for a shower Thursday night. Friday, mostly cloudy, warm, and muggy, 80 to 85 on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms around on Friday, and that's to be followed by hot weather. Several days where it's mostly sunny Saturday and Sunday. Just a slight chance of a brief thunderstorm in the afternoon or evening from the heat. 90 on Saturday, 90 to 95 on Sunday. In the city right now we have 72, humidity 82%, and then northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. We're going up to about 85 today.
All right, thank you, Craig. 7:50 at WCBS. The New York State Legislature will hold hearings to examine the impact of COVID-19. WCBS reporter Matt Rosenberg has a preview.
There's no shortage of problem spots when it comes to the early months of the pandemic in New York. Nursing homes, hospitals, higher education, our education system, transportation. These are just critical components. State Senator David Carlucci sits on the Health Committee and says they'll be hearing from people on the front lines to understand how COVID has changed communities. Among his concerns is an order from Governor Cuomo in March that nursing homes accept coronavirus patients.
There's been a lot of questions about it. I'm looking forward to the hearings to hear from all sides. This is something that's been very traumatic in our community and throughout New York State. The number of lives lost is just so concerning and so depressing.
The health department says it was staff in those facilities who spread the virus. Mac Rosenberg, WCBS News Radio 880.
Viacom CBS has fired Nick Cannon for failing to acknowledge or apologize for perpetuating anti-Semitism. The company was referring to comments Cannon made during a recent episode of his podcast, Cannon's Class. On the podcast, Nick Cannon said black people are the true Hebrews. Talked about anti-Semitic conspiracy theories involving the Rothschild family. Cannon responded on Twitter saying he has no hate in his heart and that he does not condone hate speech. Dancing with the Stars has found its new host.
Tyra Banks is switching from modeling to...
Your famous casual clothes ready, and download the iHeartRadio app. This effort will hinge fundamentally on personal respect. We're going to need WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
A chair-bearing Weymouth on Route 53. Do you believe more than 300 bar and counter stools and more than 100 dinettes currently on display? Visit the chair-bearing Weymouth. Hurry in now for special summer savings. The sun Sunset Tiki Bar and Grill in Westford, Mass. features dining on the beach for both lunch and dinner, as well as live entertainment. Come check out our special summer menu. And don't forget our online gift card special. For every $50 purchase, get $10 free. For more information, go to sunsettiki.com.
As your family continues to spend more time in your home, you've probably noticed that you can use more living space. Owens Corning, the leader in basement finishing, can transform your unused basement into a beautiful, functional space to be in family for decades to come. Whether you're looking for a home office, workout room, or play space for the kids, your brand new finished basement can be built and ready to enjoy in only a few weeks for much less than the cost of building an addition. The Owens Corning basement finishing system features insulated walls that absorb sound, are mildew and mold resistant, and can help lower your energy bills year-round. Call 888-NEW-ROOM or visit iHeartBasement.com today to schedule your free consultation. For a limited time, save $2,500 on your new finished basement. Discount not valid with other offers or previously scheduled projects. New customers only. Call 888-NEW-ROOM or visit iHeartBasement.com. That's 888-NEW-ROOM or iHeartBasement.com. 888-NEW-ROOM or iHeartBasement.com.
Hi, it's Jeff Cole. Own a car, truck, or visit us at Yankee Custom Truck to outfit your vehicle with brands like Access Cover and custom designed WeatherTech floor liners with on-site installation in Tewksbury, Saugus, Brockton, Nashua, and Southport.
Right parts right now. 7:53. Yankee Custom Truck. That brings us to Subaru Retailers of New England all-wheel drive. Traffic on the 3s. Check in with Dave Struffolino. What's going on?
Well, once again, the expressway northbound has had the most brake lights this morning. They begin by Granite Ave, continue past Columbia Road. 15-minute ride end to end. And now I'm getting word of, looks like a minor crash in the southbound side by Mass Ave and a little snag getting by that. Northbound 95 is packed in for almost 2 miles getting to Route 128 in Canton. To find out what the downtown area looks like, we go to the Mopre Insurance Road Report.
Oh, we've had a lot of company this morning on the Leverage out ramp. It's still like that from back at the beginning through the lane drop. It stays slow down past the gravel plant onto Storrow Drive. Storrow Drive West is cleared out by the time you're out to the Longfellow Bridge, heading out toward the Kenmore exit. Beyond Soldiers Field Road is flat. So is Memorial Drive. Memorial Drive East, beware of the long-term market taking the right lane before you get to Mass Ave. Lower Deck 93 wide open. No big problems with the Tobin Bridge other than the burn zone over at Chelsea. And the airport tunnels are moving well. Chris in the Mopre Insurance Road Report.
Hey, David Struffolino, WBZ Traffic on the 3s. Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com, sponsors the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast. Let's take a closer look now with meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Well, Jeff, we're starting off with a fair amount of clouds, even a couple of showers moving through throughout the morning. Most of the showers, though, very light. It will be cool through today with times of clouds and sunshine. Most of the sun coming into the afternoon. Highs between 70 and 75. Partly cloudy and comfortable tonight, low near 60. 71 downtown, but in the mid to upper 70s in many suburbs. More clouds and sun Friday with a shower in strong spots, high 76. With stride of the weekend, but it is going to be heating up. Sunshine and some clouds Saturday, high 86 along the coast, lower 90s in some inland suburbs, and then most areas in the low to mid 90s on Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, although it will be in the 80s on the Cape. I'm active with the meteorologist Brian Thompson, WBZ, Boston's News Radio. Looking good right now in Boston. Clouds and fog, 65 degrees.
WBZ at 7:05 a.m., 12:35, and 5:35 p.m. for tomorrow. Brought to you by Toyota. Learn the latest news from leading experts on cutting-edge innovations, hybrid, and safety technology. Toyota.
7:56 on the Ring Central News Line this morning. You know, sometimes you might want to make things happen. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. Well, the mayor of Everett was, and WBZ's Kim Tunnicliffe says he's being on this day.
Coronavirus forced Dr. Matt and Naomi Callias to cancel their big wedding plan for this past Saturday, July 11th. They decided to hold a smaller ceremony on the beach here in MassPike on the same date. But Matt says the justice of the peace didn't show up.
Luckily, Naomi's mom was looking for her kitchen and ran into the mayor, and the mayor was gracious enough to see what he could do on his end to make things work.
Mayor, meaning Everett Mayor Carlo Di Maria, who just happened to be vacationing with his family in the same area of the Cape. Di Maria said he didn't have the authority to preside over the wedding, but he made a call to Governor Baker on a Saturday night and got an emergency one-day license to marry the couple.
We were able to make it official, legal, but yeah,
The governor even called Matt to congratulate them. Kim Tunnicliffe.
out the door this morning. We'll get to the 70s today. Coming up on WBC, Patriots tickets few and far between this year. And a sprint for a COVID vaccine looking pretty good in our own backyard. Those stories and more coming up next at 7:57.
Ocean Edge Resort and Golf Club on Cape Cod. Enjoy private dining, golf, hiking, kayaking, and beachside peace of mind. Look at oceanedge.com. Swanson Granite is hiring for open positions at their Medway and Shrewsbury locations. Apply today at swansongranite.com. Swanson Granite is an equal opportunity employer.
Small businesses need a steady partner in today's changing world. That's Salesforce. Salesforce gives you sales, service, and marketing all on one secure platform, accessible from anywhere, so you can connect with your teams, share information, and automate processes. And best of all, we're here to help at any time with service, support, and proactive tips to help you grow. Form deeper connections with your customers, starting now. Try it for free at salesforce.com/SMB. That's salesforce.com/SMB. Hey, Dr. Reporter, independently law firm with Westford, Texas, is responsible for candidate defense. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is one of the most common cancers in the United States. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup weed killer, you could be entitled to cash compensation. There, the owner of Roundup will pay more than $10 million to cancer victims of weed killer Roundup. Call our weed killer cancer hotline now to see if you are entitled to cash compensation. Roundup has been one of the most commonly used herbicides in the U.S. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and exposed to Roundup, call now. Our attorneys have the experience and specialize in fighting for everyday people to get you the compensation you deserve. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup weed killer, even if the loved one has passed away, call 800-729-1337 now to see if you are entitled to compensation. But hurry, time is limited. Call 800-729-1337. 800-729-1337.
Weight loss and weight maintenance can be frustrating, it can be challenging, and it can be a hard road, but at Awaken 180, our coaches are here to provide you with support, guidance, education, and tools to help you.
WBC Boston, WXKS FM HD2 Medford, and iHeart Radio Station. Now more than ever, it matters where you get your news. WBC News Radio. Good morning, it's 8 o'clock in Boston, and look at this, not very summer-like at all here in the city. Clouds, fog, and maybe a few raindrops where you are, just 65 degrees out the door this morning, and only into the low 70s for much of the area today. Nonetheless, it's Wednesday, and we are creeping ever closer to another weekend. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I'm Jeff Brown, and here's what's going on. Phase number 3 of the economic rebound is happening right now in most of Massachusetts, and it continues to go pretty smoothly with the coronavirus caseload in check, but the caution flag still flies in Somerville.
I'm really concerned that we're moving forward without pressing the pause button to fully measure and understand where we are in the pandemic's evolution.
Mayor Joe Curtatone making it clear he feels his city is not out of the woods just yet. Somerville's next step comes on Monday. Meantime, Boston researchers at Mass General Brigham find that wearing face masks could go a long way to stopping coronavirus in its tracks. That is something the head of the CDC supports.
CDC Director Robert Redfield said masks are key to stopping the coronavirus.
If we could get everybody to wear a mask right now, I really do think over the next 4, 6, 8 weeks we could bring this epidemic under control.
Yesterday, Florida reported more than 9,000 new cases and a record 132 deaths. The mayor of Miami Beach wants a statewide mask mandate.
We're not just urging you to do it, but it's urgent that you do it.
More than 150 employees are currently off the job at Jackson Health System after testing positive.
It's not just about having beds for patients, we also need all the support staff.
Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Picked by the Trump administration as one of the most likely to succeed in developing a vaccine for coronavirus. The early results are in, and Moderna's efforts look like a very good bet indeed. Cambridge Biotech becomes the first to report results from an early-stage clinical trial which show that its treatment is effective in kickstarting a mild immune response to the virus. In fact, every one of the patients enrolled in this trial showed improvement.
The company admits there's still a long way to go here, but it is about to begin the final round of clinical testing. Now, if approved by the FDA, Moderna of Cambridge says it'll be ready to make about 1 billion doses of the vaccine every year, starting in just months. Still more questions than answers these days when it comes to sports. Football. Plans for Patriots fans, hoping the team gets a crack in the face of coronavirus at Gillette Stadium this fall. WBZ's James Rojas tells us these fans are also hoping they get to see the team in person.
Players on the field are not the only ones who have to worry about being flagged for a face mask or lack thereof. The Patriots Association announced preliminary protocols that fans could expect this season, including the need to cover up and socially distance from one another. That may not be, especially since about 20% of the stadium's total capacity would be allowed in. Tickets would also be arranged or less. The first 8 rows in the stadium remaining empty. Also, ticket sales to the general public moving online. That is after Patriots Putnam Club and season ticket members get first dibs at individual tickets. Good news, however, parking at Gillette would be free. James Rojas, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
And for the Patriots, by the way, this is going to be life after Tom Brady.
We have to talk about the elephant in the room in his life. You coming after
See, Brady's an elephant. More from Cam Newton, the new Pats quarterback, coming up in just a bit. It's 8:03. Get you onto the roadways, which are now dealing with some water. We check in with David Struffolino. The Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive traffic on the trees.
And the expressway continues to be a magnet for problems. Now we have a couple of problems on the southbound side. First, a single-car crash right outside of the O'Neill Tunnel, and then 2 more cars closer to Mass Ave. The northbound side now just under a 20-minute ride into Ed. Moderate congestion from Neponset past Columbia Road. To find out what it looks like around the downtown area, we check in with the Mopre Insurance Road Report.
Memorial Drive on the eastbound side is backed up a bit at JFK Street, and then you're back on the brakes after that before you get down to Western Ave. We'll have to check and see if something's happening over there. Beyond that, watch for the Right Lane 1 project before Mass Ave on Memorial Drive. Over on the other side of the river, Storrow Drive east is okay, but Storrow West is slow leaving Leverett Circle out toward the Longfellow. It does get better after that, and behind that, the Leverett down ramp is still all tangled up end to end all the way down to Storrow Drive. Lower down to 3, the Temple Bridge, they're both fine. At the center, Williams tunnels are moving well. Kristen Huck in the Mopre Insurance Road Report.
David Struffolino, WBZ traffic on the trees.
A bit of rain on our July parade this morning here in Boston, 65 degrees right now, and cloudy skies otherwise. Clouds will break up. We'll see some sunshine throughout the day. In fact, it'll be sun and clouds, and again, another chance of showers this afternoon. It's going to be a bit quieter than things have been in the recent past, but nonetheless, it's like summer is pressing pause on the heat. Today and tomorrow will be a little bit cooler than we'd like to see in mid-July, but we'll make up for it this upcoming weekend, and it starts on Friday with temperatures starting to take off, and we'll hit 90 or beyond both Saturday and Sunday. Right now, clouds and showers, fog in Boston as well. It is 8:05. Face masks gaining traction around the country these days. Now the cases of coronavirus continue to explode, and the daily death toll hits a new all-time high in Florida. We get the latest now from CBS News.
As tighter coronavirus restrictions are reimposed in California, not every business is complying. KCBS TV's Nicole Comstock visited an LA area gym where the doors are still open.
The work never stops at Fitness Mania in Riverside.
You think it's unsafe to stay home?
Owner Mike A's posted a notice on his front door for any official that might visit for a compliance check, saying we're not in violation of any license to do business, and we are not breaking any laws.
We'll take the lights shut off and we'll just do what we have to do.
In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott warned last week if people don't start to wear masks, the next step would be a state lockdown. He was asked about that Tuesday in an interview with KTVT television.
When you look at the actions that I took to shut down bars, as well as to require face masks to be worn, it's going to take several weeks before you can see the level of effect of that. And so it's going to take several more weeks to see the effectiveness.
CBS News Update. I'm Bill Raycom.
Well, Governor Charlie Baker says it should be a priority that schools strive towards in-class learning this fall. That is his mandate, his hope, and he's expecting to hear from individual school districts in the coming weeks. From new this morning, Massachusetts teachers calling for a phased-in reopening of schools. This plan, they say, would mirror the state's four-step business reopening on the road to the new normal. The Massachusetts Teachers Association, the Boston Teachers Union, and the American Federation of Teachers of Massachusetts all say returning to school is going to be accompanied by social, emotional, and academic needs that educators don't fully understand. They claim it'll be a difficult at best reopening process as well. Well, two sisters at a clothing store do what entrepreneurs do. They come up with what they hope is going to be the next big thing. WBZ's Carl Stevens says these South Boston entrepreneurs are ready to hit the high-speed lane with this idea.
Vicky and Nicoletta Laurentolakis, two sisters who own Best Dress, a store in South Boston, knew when the virus closed things down, in order to survive, they have to think out of the box. So they created a box, an accessories box, for women who engage in virtual meetings. They have created basically Zoom fashion. This is Nicoletta.
We knew that by creating these boxes, we were giving women a really easy way to work together at home.
You can create a custom box of accessories on your own, or they'll make one for you. You can check out the Style Kilos at Rent Mass Dress. It's WBZ Boston's News Radio.
It is 8:08, and is actually part of the reason that the stock market is doing so well this morning. Let's get a look at the numbers and business news. We check in with Bloomberg and Tom Busby.
Oh, you bet, Jeff, and the stocks are ready to shoot higher today. Dow futures now up 560 points, and you're right. Big part of that, encouraging news about two proposed COVID-19 vaccines, one from Cambridge-based Moderna, the other from UK-based drug maker AstraZeneca. Also helping blow out earnings this morning from United Healthcare, Goldman Sachs, and PNC Bank. And so many people are playing video games stuck inside their homes. New systems are hard to find in stores or online. Now, Sony doubling production of its PlayStation 5 gaming system to 10 million units this year just to keep up with demand. I'm Tom Busby, Bloomberg Business on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Singer Shaggy with another clarification on his big hits. Details on the way. It's 8:09.
We all got the app, but only WBZ tailors traffic reports for Boston commuters. WBZ Traffic on the Freeze, only on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
The engine's making that noise again.
You know, you can lease or even buy a new car from the Roto app.
Really? Upgrading to a new car would be nice.
Like when we upgraded from that tiny little apartment to a real house with a yard.
Yeah! Let's download the Roto app and buy a new car!
Now you can lease or buy a new car through the Roto app. We offer the lowest prices, and the whole purchase is done right through the app. Then we deliver the car to your home. Download the Roto app today. That's R-O-D-O. Roto. Behind the wheel, ahead of the curve.
At Tufts Medical Center, you're safe with us. How do I know? Because as a public safety officer, it's my job to make sure every employee and visitor who enters wears a mask and is symptom-free. Protecting people from the spread of COVID-19 is something we all take very seriously. If you need medical care of any kind, don't put it off. Our teams are doing everything possible to protect you and your family. Learn more at tuftsmedicalcenter.org/safe with us.
Hi folks, Joe Giacalone here, owner of Arch Painting, and it's great to talk to you again. We all know times are challenging with this whole social distancing thing. Well, we're here to help with our amazing app. Download it for free, take a few pics, upload them, and get a quote. It's that easy. And right now, you can even get interest-free financing for 12 months. That's right. We paint now, you pay later. We practice social distancing with minimal or even no contact with customers, and we follow all local and state guidelines. So download our free app or call us today at 1-844-ARCH-PAINTING for a free estimate. But hurry, the weather is heating up and our schedule is filling fast. Your vision brought to life, Arch Painting. Your vision brought to life, Arch Painting. Your vision brought.
Are you confident that you've saved enough for retirement? If you're hoping to retire in the next 5 years and you don't know the answer to that question, we should talk. I'm Sam Lang of Rubino and Land Wealth Partners, and we design custom strategies to help people pursue their retirement goals. You know, there's so much generic advice about retirement, it's really hard to know what's right for you, especially when you start receiving those paychecks. Any missteps can be really hard to come back from. So don't go at it alone. The 365 retirement plan works every day of the year, so you don't have to. Rubino and Langwell Partners, home of the 365 retirement plan. Call us at 617-440-9365 or visit 365retirement.com. Again, that's 617-440-9365 or 365retirement.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors Inc. Insurance offered
quarterback Cam Newton speaking publicly for the first time since signing in New England. Newton appeared on a YouTube roundtable with Odell Beckham Jr. and other NFL stars. The former MVP says the Pats are getting a ticked-off dog, but he also addresses replacing that guy who took off for Florida back in March.
We have to talk about the elephant in the room, and it's like, no, you're coming after him.
I'm like, yeah, great. What he was, what he is great. Needs no even talking about it. But one thing about it, though, Coach McDaniel, is you're able to call some stuff that you ain't never been able to call now. All right, so, hey, you're getting a dog. You're getting one of these ticked off dogs, too.
Training camp in the books for the a maintenance day today. He says he hopes to have the full team on the ice together for the first time tomorrow. The Red Sox, meanwhile, set the scrimmage again this afternoon. He won't flat out say it, but Nathan Eovaldi will be all day. The manager says that conversation will happen in the next few days. Dan Watkins, WBZ, Boston News Radio.
It's 8:13. You know what? Let's check the weather. We're together every 10 minutes. David Straffolino always first. With the Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive, traffic on the threes.
We've had some delays around the downtown area. To get the latest, we'll begin with a Mopre Insurance Road Report. We picked up a couple of problems just outside of the O'Neill Tunnel southbound. One of them was a breakdown. A little farther down, there was a minor crash. Both of those things have taken care of themselves, so that's good news. Now, back on the other side of things, getting into the other side of the O'Neill Tunnel from the lower deck 93 of the Zakin Bridge, that's been fine all morning. Still is. The lever down ramp hasn't been fine. It is still all jammed up, heading down towards Storrow Drive. Storrow West is slow out toward the Longfellow before you finally break loose there. We had some delays that popped up over on the eastbound side of Memorial Drive. Those seem to have improved as of late, but there is still right lane work going on before Mass Ave to be aware of. Airport tunnels, the Ted Williams tunnels, great shape, both eastbound and westbound, and no issues with the Sumner on Callahan tunnels. Preston, the Mopre Insurance Road Report.
WBZ phone force telling us an overturned vehicle on Morrissey Boulevard southbound near David Straffolino, WBZ traffic on the threes.
Window World of Boston is the choice to make to save on energy bills every season. So beautify your home with winning windows, doors, siding, and roofing at guaranteed everyday low prices. Visit windowworldofboston.com now. That's windowworldofboston.com. This is WBZ News Radio 1030, where the news watch never stops. Give me some sunshine, would you? It's clouds and showers here in Boston this morning, and some fog, too. 65 degrees right now. The heat's taking a bit of a breather for the next couple of days. Temperatures will be in the low 70s, but we turn it up into the 90s this upcoming weekend. But Wednesday morning, July 18th, I'm Jeff Brown. Midway through the month. For being with us, and here are the 5 things you need to know at 8:15. Dire predictions from the CDC. Coronavirus is likely to run head-on into the flu this winter, possibly creating the worst public health crisis ever in America. New research, though, from Mass General Brigham shows wearing face masks can help stop the virus in its tracks. Some say in a matter of weeks. Cambridge-based biotech Moderna will begin late-stage clinical trials on its COVID-19 vaccine later this month after bang-up results from an early-stage trial. And Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is back in the hospital today receiving treatment for a possible infection. Hours after signing more sanctions on China, not a word from President Trump at a Rose Garden news conference. Instead, it appears to be a campaign stump, and he's taking aim at Joe Biden.
Never did anything except make very bad decisions.
The president giving what appears to be a nearly hour-long campaign speech. Details now from ABC's Andy Field.
It was supposed to be a news conference, but the president only answered a few questions. Instead, he used the Rose Garden to deliver campaign messages against Joe Biden.
Unlike Biden, we don't want to have criminals pouring into our country. We don't want to have open borders.
We're not going to have that.
Joe Biden has not said he wants criminals entering the country or called for open borders. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
As for Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee unveils a $2 trillion plan to fight climate change and create jobs in a post-pandemic world. CBS News correspondent Ed O'Keefe tells us Biden also took aim at the record of President Trump.
Speaking near his Delaware home today, Joe Biden ridiculed President Trump's response to the coronavirus.
It's gotten bad enough. Finally decided to wear a mask in public.
The president, who wore a mask to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center over the weekend, was also criticized by Biden for failing to listen to medical professionals like Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Please listen to your public health experts instead of denigrating them. Do your job, Mr. President, because if we can't deal with the public health crisis, we can't deal with the economic crisis.
Show me the money. Biden says the plan will be paid for by corporations with an increase to the tax rate and another round of federal stimulus money. Well, with momentum apparently on the side of the former vice president in the latest polls, can some perennial red states flip to blue this upcoming November? ABC political analyst Rick Klein gives us his take.
You're seeing the Democrats begin to open up a lead, not just in places like Maine and Colorado and Arizona, but suddenly Montana is very competitive. I mentioned those two races in Georgia, North Carolina, very much on the map. Maybe even John Cornyn in Texas, where the primary for the Democratic side was held last night as well. So all of these places are starting to come into the same attitude. More and more Republican strategists that I talk to are just resigned to the fact that it is going to be a dogfight. And unlike in previous elections where you might be able to find a way to distance yourself effectively for the president, there really isn't that avenue for Republicans this time around. Their fates are just so intertwined.
The president also criticizing polls that show him at an average of nearly 10 points behind Biden right now across the country. He insists there is a silent majority backing him. 8:19, clouds and showers this morning in Boston. Some sunshine later, 65 out the door this morning. Facing federal lawsuits and opposition from hundreds of universities, the Trump administration drops its proposal to ban international students from studying in the United States if all of their classes are taught online. Happened quite suddenly, too. The decision announced at the start of a lawsuit hearing in Boston federal court. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey claiming a victory, and also claims the motive for the initial order from the White House was to force these colleges and universities to reopen in the fall semester. Big relief to thousands of foreign students who had been at risk of being deported if they did not leave voluntarily. On Beacon Hill, as a police reform bill heads to the House, many local officers not at all happy with the move.
Angry would be an understatement. I can tell you that we're living.
Boston Police Patrolman Association President Larry Calderoni was flanked by minority officer leaders as he took the Senate to task for passing a bill that included limits on qualified immunity for police. Calderoni says the unions are on board with many parts of the original bill.
So we say, okay, let's do something about chokeholds. Let's do something about discharging weapons and moving vehicles. Let's do something about a duty to intervene. Yeah, we agree with those things. Uniform standards and trainings across the Commonwealth. We believe in that.
Calderoni, members of minority law enforcement groups here say the Senate bill will not protect good police officers in doing their job. In Dorchester, Karen Regal, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Well,
Downtown with a big pothole.
but only WBZ News Radio can help you avoid car eating potholes.
It looks like that pothole is taking out another car. Still looking for the pothole, I think.
WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
You know, when you're in the window business, installing 1 million windows, that is a pretty big deal. Hey, it's me again, Jeff Brown, for my friends at Window Nation, which have done just that. They've installed 1 million windows around the country, and they got there during the middle of a pandemic. How about that? It's worthy of celebration, don't you think? And they want to get you in on the act because they want to do another 1 million windows. So why not? Let's get right to it. Up to 50% off on all of their windows right now. And they'll go many steps more than that, too, with no money down and no payments for the next couple of years. There's no interest payments at all. It's like free money, and it's available for you right now. So there's no need to wait. What are you waiting for? Get in touch with Window Nation now. Call them at 866-90NATION or pay a visit to them online at windownation.com to schedule a free virtual or in-home estimate. Again, it's 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
It's time to think about how you're going to transition your employees back to the office safely, and my friends at Firefly Health have designed a convenient virtual care service to help your business. Just Health/return to work to find expert clinical guidance and support for your employees, like in-app screenings, evaluation and treatment for those who test positive for COVID-19, as well as a digital dashboard to help you monitor your reentry. Be smart, be safe with Firefly Health.
It is 8:23 out off the roadways once again, and every 10 minutes, David Struffolino is keeping up with the Subaru retailers of New England all week. Traffic on the threes.
South of the city, 95 northbound packed in for close to a mile, getting to 128 in Canton. Expressway northbound, 15 minutes, Braintree to Boston. Delays Freeport Street past Columbia Road. On Morrissey Boulevard near the expressway, the WBZ phone force tells us there's a rollover near the end of the drawbridge. To find out about the downtown area, we check in with the Mopra Insurance Road Report.
We've just gotten word of a new crash on Storrow Drive eastbound, somewhere around Leverett Circle. So after Mass General, keep an eye open for that. The westbound side of Storrow remains slow out toward the Longfellow Bridge before you finally break out of that. And behind that, the Leverett down ramp is still jammed up all the way back to the beginning. It crawls through the lane drop. It's very slow down past the sand and gravel plant as you get onto Storrow. Tobin Bridge inbound, not bad this morning. Just keep in mind you lose the left lane in the Chelsea S-curves. That's the long-term work there. The airport tunnels are in pretty good shape. That means the Sumner Tunnel, Callahan, and Ted Williams all doing well. Kristen Eck in the Mopra Insurance Road Report.
I'm David Struffolino, WBZ traffic on the threes.
The middle of July, but it feels anything but. Let's check the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast right now. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Yeah, Jeff, it's running a little cooler this morning. Temperatures in the low to mid-60s, and we really won't see too much recovery in the temperatures today thanks to a northeasterly wind. There are some showers still around right now, and they're very light and spotty, but they'll be around for a little while longer. Most of the afternoon, though, should turn out dry with some sunshine on near 70 in Boston today, close to 75 inland. Partly cloudy, comfortable tonight, low near 60. And intervals of clouds and sunshine tomorrow, and 71 downtown. We'll get into the mid to upper 70s in many suburbs. More clouds and sun Friday with a shower and thunderstorm at spots, high 76. Heating up into the weekend, we'll have a big jump in temperature on Saturday. Sunshine and some clouds, still quite humid, high 86 along the coast, but many inland suburbs into the low 90s. And a hot and humid Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, highs mostly in the low to mid 90s. Only the beaches and the Cape will be in the 80s, and probably parts of the south coast as well. I'm active with the meteorologist Brian Thompson, WBZ, Boston's News Radio. That's more like it. Clouds and 65 right now in Boston. It's 8:25. Had a look at New England business this morning after getting a stinging rejection from the FDA. For Blueprint Medicines. The Cambridge biotech gets a potential deal with drug giant Roche that could be worth more than $1.5 billion. The companies are going to be working on Blueprint's second cancer drug. Its first hit the market earlier this year, but when Blueprint applied to expand the use of that drug, the Fed said no for reasons that remain out of the public's eye. Largest airline operating at Logan Airport is going to hang on to the social distancing thing a little bit longer. JetBlue will keep the middle seats open through the Labor Day holiday. This changes prior plans that would have allowed passengers to sit in the middle seats later on this month. Well, a saying that has stood the test of time for more than 2 decades. It wasn't me. Musician Shaggy, speaking to the Associated Press, says still to this day he has to reiterate that his hit song, It Wasn't Me, is not a cheating song. But he says the song stays relevant for reasons beyond just relationships.
It also works with everything that's going on with politicians, and anybody does anything, it's like, okay, it wasn't me. Oh, so you do the Shaggy defense. That's the Shaggy defense, and that also prolongs it.
It Wasn't Me, the anti-cheating song, says Shaggy, released 20 years ago. It is Wednesday. We're halfway to another weekend. And we start with clouds and showers this morning. A little bit of sunshine later on, but still a little cool, only in the lower 70s today. Coming up this morning on WBC News Radio. Schools are on the clock after Governor Charlie Baker says in-class learning is his priority and his plan for the fall semester. Providence considers paying reparations to minorities. Football in Foxborough for the very few, it appears, this fall. Details on those stories and much more coming up next. Stay with us. It's Wednesday, 8/27.
Yourself in the head. Rates are at historic lows, so take advantage of our new Fast Track loan with an unbelievable low rate of 3% rate and APR with our no closing costs 30-year fixed loan. That's right, no points, no fees. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial, a trusted lender for over 20 years. Even if you refinanced in the last year, we can still probably save you money. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how you can save up to thousands of dollars a year. This amazing 3% rate and APR won't last long, and our new Fast Track loan process can get it done in record time. So call today, 844-425-3669. That's 844-425-3669. Biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. Call us at 844-425-3669. 844-425-3669.
Westland Financial Corp is licensed by the Division of Banks and Loan Agencies. Licensed as a mortgage lender. License number ML3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Post-road carpet in Karastan. You made the right decision. Post-road carpet. Route 2A and Acton. More than just great Karastan carpeting. It's a great design center. Post-road carpet is COVID compliant.
Tufts Medical Center, protecting you and your family while caring for your healthcare needs. More at tuftsmedicalcenter.org/sleep with us.
Yankee Custom Trucks the store to get you right equipped with rigs and mats, lights and more. It's always worth the truth.
Yankee Custom Trucks has tons of parts in stock for your truck, van, or SUV. From the rubber to the roof and everywhere in between, we got you covered. We don't just sell the parts, we install them on site. Right today, it's the Tech Format. Features Ferry, Saugus, Brockton, Nashua, and South Portland. More online at YankeeCustomTruck.com. Yankee Custom Trucks.
Right parts, right now. WPC is news that matters most. Right
Burning Midnight Oil on Beacon Hill.
Calling for strict reforms in police departments across the Commonwealth.
Not only does it ban the use of chokeholds and limits the use of tear gas, but it also scales back legal protections of officers and other public employees.
Stay in the know with WPC, Boston's News Radio.
Always live, always local. This is Boston's News Radio, WBC 1030, an iHeart radio station.
8:30, and good morning to you on a Wednesday here, and not such a great start here in Boston. We've seen clouds, and we've seen some rain. We'll also see some sunshine later today as temperatures will get into the lower 70s. The news at 8:30 is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Welcome aboard. I'm Jeff Brown. Here's what's going on. Coronavirus continues to rage on in much of the nation. Many states setting records every day in new infections. Florida hits a new high in daily death toll as well. Here in Massachusetts, the numbers suggest otherwise, but Boston Mayor Marty Walsh is still in a proceed with caution mode. The mayor also warning Washington politics have no place in a fight with an invisible enemy.
We need to avoid at all costs politicizing a pandemic that divides people at a time when everything together is a matter of life and death.
Testing for the virus has been a key in keeping the spread down, and it's working in Massachusetts, but coming up short elsewhere. President Trump addresses that and more in an interview with Catherine Herridge from CBS News.
Back in March, he said every American who wants a test will get a test. But one of the major labs in the U.S. announced today that the average wait time for results is about 7 days. So is a national testing strategy working?
We have 45 million tests as of, I think, today, approximately 45 million tests. No other country tests like us. In fact, I could say it's working too much. It's working too well.
On education, the Los Angeles School District is the latest and one of the largest in the country to say they're not going back to school in the fall. So what do you tell parents and teachers who feel that it's unsafe to go back?
I would tell parents and teachers that you should find yourself a good person, whoever's in charge of that decision, because it's a terrible decision. Because children and parents are dying from that trauma too. They're dying because they can't do what they're doing. Mothers can't go to work because all of a sudden they have to stay home and watch their child, and fathers. What's happening, there's a tremendous strain on that whole side of it.
So it's a balancing act.
It is a balancing act, but then we have to open our schools.
Speaking of our schools here in Massachusetts, state to focus on face-to-face sessions in class this fall. He is asking for plans from school districts in the coming weeks. And meantime, this morning, the Massachusetts teachers' unions are calling for a phased-in process for a reopening of schools. Just up the road in New Hampshire, it will not make any requirements on school districts, leaving the decisions about class, in-class, or at-home studies up to the individual cities and towns. Well, the Bruins, the Celtics, and the Red Sox continue putting in some practice time as games with no fans are set to roll by the end of this month. This fall, though, it's football. The Patriots are making plans for some fans at Gillette Stadium. The Pats believe they can have up to 20% capacity if the NFL allows it. And wouldn't you know it, today is the day the tax man is calling deadline day pushed out 3 months during this outbreak, and the sand is disappearing from the proverbial hourglass as we speak.
The move was made in March to ease the burden on people in the most uncertain of times.
Families and businesses want this extra time to file with no interest or penalties.
But 3 months later, today is no different than the first 2 weeks of April 2019 or 2018, as the IRS reports that filings were down as much as 11% by the end of June. So if you're one of the millions across the country who still needs to file their taxes, what can you do? Well, you can file today by midnight or request an extension out to as late as October 15th. But that extension must also be requested by the end of today. And if you owe money, today is the day to settle up. Lastly, for those who have already filed their taxes and are expecting a refund, this year the amount you receive will include interest, as much as 5%. Chris Palmer, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Time goes by fast, doesn't it? Speaking of that, it's 8:33 already. Let's hit the road now with the Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive. Traffic on the threes. David Struffolino, what's going on?
Losing a little bit of time on Morrissey Boulevard northbound, where there is an overturned vehicle blocking the right lane between Freeport Street and UMass. Near that on the expressway northbound, a 15-minute ride, Braintree to Boston, with brake lights from Savin Hill past Columbia Road. South of the city, 95 north is backed up close to a half mile, getting to 128 in Canton. Everything else south of the city is in good shape. West of town on Route 9 eastbound, we've been seeing delays getting by work at Parker Street on the pipe. That's a 19-minute ride from Route 9 to the Alston-Brighton exit. North of the city on 128 north, some volume getting by Endicott Street in Danvers. No trouble southbound. Route 1 south is clear from Route 128 to the Tobin Bridge and into the city. 93 south, the speed limit ride from the state line to Somerville, and no problems on the lower deck. David Struffolino, WBZ, traffic on the threes.
We are in the midpoint of July, and it really doesn't look like it very much here in Boston this morning. Mostly cloudy skies. We've seen some raindrops, too. We will also see the sun later today, as temperatures will stay on the cool side. We're getting into the lower 70s, but that's a little bit below normal for this time of year. The heat is continuing to take a break again tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds then, and as we head towards the upcoming weekend, it's more clouds than sun on Friday, but here comes the heat once again back into the 90s both Saturday and Sunday, so a little bit of a respite for us right now. 66 degrees and still pretty thick clouds here in Boston at 8:35. It's jail and no bail for Ghislaine Maxwell, the former longtime accomplice and girlfriend to convicted sex abuser Jeffrey Epstein, denied in her bid for freedom as she awaits a federal trial for her role in Epstein's long-running scheme.
One of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged victims called her a monster as she added her voice to those calling for Maxwell's continued incarceration. Another, Annie Farmer, told the judge she was 16 when she met Maxwell, who then groomed and abused her. The defense said Maxwell is not Jeffrey Epstein and not the sinister person portrayed by prosecutors. Maxwell pleaded not guilty to the criminal charges. The judge ordered her held without bail, saying her potential 35-year sentence, foreign ties, and substantial wealth made her a risk of flight. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, Federal Court, New York.
Singers Jay-Z and Rihanna are among some of the big names in entertainment, calling on the Justice Department to take another look at the shooting of DJ Henry, a 20-year-old black college football player from Easton, shot by a white police officer outside New York City. It happened 10 years ago. Henry was shot while behind the wheel in a restaurant parking lot as police were there trying to break up a homecoming party. Details surrounding the shooting death have left a lot to be desired, according to the family. DJ AJ's dad also wants the case reopened, and in a letter to Attorney General William Barr, is calling for complete transparency. The city of Providence is considering making reparation payments to those with African and indigenous heritage. No word on how much this is going to cost, but Mayor Jorge Elorza will call for a study and sign an executive order today to begin the process. Elorza says his order will be the first step in accepting the role that Providence has played in generations of pain and violence. To Hollywood now, we're getting a sneak peek at what the Dancing with the Stars TV show is going to look like in the future.
Tyra Banks is switching from modeling to dancing. America's Next Top Model host and executive VP will have the same duties Dancing with the Stars, taking the reins from Tom Bergeron and Aaron Andrews. They got the book this week. ABC said the socially distanced season 29 will debut this fall. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It is 8:38 on a Wednesday morning, and Wall Street is taken off like a rocket before the opening bell. Let's check in at the numbers and look for the reasons why. Here's Bloomberg's Tom Busby.
Well, you're right, Jeff. The Dow futures soaring up 543 points right now. That's thanks to a pre-market surge in shares of Cambridge-based Moderna on encouraging news about its COVID-19 vaccine. And good news about another vaccine, this one coming from the UK's AstraZeneca. Also helping blow out earnings this morning for Goldman Sachs with a nearly 100% jump in revenue from its stock trading unit. Also, United Healthcare, a record profit there. But the Acton-based paper store chain with 86 stores throughout Massachusetts and 5 other northeastern states filing for bankruptcy, undone by the coronavirus closures. And the chain says after the Patriots failed to advance in the playoffs last year, which hurt sales. I'm Tom Busby, Bloomberg Business on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
The notorious RBG back in the hospital. Details coming up next. It's 8:39.
Your app can tell you there's a problem on your commute, but only WBZ can tell you why and for how long. WBZ traffic on the threes, only on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, and anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Who will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor? Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like that much-needed 125-inch flat-screen TV.
It's hurting my eyes a lot.
Or your 100-square-foot bedroom.
My neck isn't so much stiff, and it's completely stuck.
With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Uh-oh, I'm seeing color splotches. Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, or the one done.
We make USAA insurance for members like Beth, a Navy veteran. She and her husband Larry might be old school, but they're made of curiosity to always try new things, like that cooking class, or skiing, and finally learning guitar. Now that the kids are out of the house. So when Beth realized they were overpaying the insurance company they've been with for years, she and Larry thought they'd try another new thing, switching to USAA. USAA insurance is made the way Beth and Larry need it. Super knowledgeable agents who take the time to understand your coverage needs and help you.
Walker, CBS News.
And the multi-state coalition led by Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey is asking the U.S. Senate to increase funding for child care during the next stimulus package. We're talking about at least $50 billion. Because of the virus, many child care providers are operating at reduced capacity or have shut down. Recent estimates predict that without adequate federal money, nearly 4.5 million child care positions across the country are at risk of disappearing, including more than 50,000 here in Massachusetts.
Do you have questions about the reopening of Massachusetts? What's open and what's still closed? As we come back from the break, listen to WBZ News Radio every morning and every afternoon to follow this 4-phase plan.
Begins its journey down the road to the new normal.
Stay safe, stay informed. WBZ, Boston's News Radio. Hey there, Dave. Whoa, what's there? Don't freak out. It's me, your car. I just want to say, this relationship, it's not working. Yeah, and it's not you. It's me. I know. It is you. You're old. You're worn out. It's the days when things were fresh and new. And I want you to buy a new car and get that feeling back. Have you downloaded the Roto app yet? Isn't that for leasing cars? It is. But now you can buy a new car on Roto too. You can search hundreds of new cars, all at the best prices, with crystal clear terms. The whole purchase is done right on the app, and they'll deliver it to your house. This is great. A convertible. That hurts, Dave. Oh, sorry.
Now Roto is making it easier to lease a new car without ever going to a dealership. You'll have access to thousands of cars with the lowest prices and crystal clear terms. The whole purchase is done directly through the app, and we even drop the car off at your home. So download the app or visit our website today. That's RODO. Roto, behind the wheel, ahead of the curve.
So the station's coming up to 27 at Trust Medical Center. You're safe with us. How do I know? Because I'm a pediatric nurse, and my young patients count on me to protect them from COVID-19. Our staff screen daily for symptoms, and everyone in the hospital wears masks. When I clean my hands hundreds of times a day, I think about keeping each of our young patients safe. If your child needs medical care of any kind, don't put it off. We are doing everything possible to protect them. Learn more at trustmedicalcenter.org/safewithus.
8:53. Plenty of problems on the roadways to keep everyone interested this morning, so let's check it out right now. David Straffolino is watching the Subaru retailers on New England all-wheel drive traffic on the freeze.
And we just picked up a new problem west of the city. It's a crash on Route 2 eastbound. State police say 2 cars pulled over on the eastbound side of Route 2 about a quarter of a mile before exit 32, Route 13 in Leominster. Beyond that, not a bad ride on Route 2 through Acton and Arlington. 28's looking good from Route 1 to Route 2. Route 1 itself is looking great for Saugus. South of the city, 95 northbound is backed up a little bit getting onto the lower end of 128 in Canton, and then 128 north, 6-minute ride to make it up to Great Plain Ave. No problems on Route 24 or 495. Route 3 along the South Shore is in good shape. On the expressway, close to 15 minutes either way. Northbound delays between the gas tank and Andrew Square. The southbound side has some company getting by Freeport Street. David Straffolino, WBZ traffic on the freeze.
That's right, it's on swing. We check the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast. Let's get the word from meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Yeah, Jim, I think we'll sneak in a pretty nice afternoon. Everyone's been a pretty moody start to the day with clouds. We still have some spotty showers and a little drizzle out there right now. But again, we'll see some breaks of sun heading toward the afternoon hours. Near 70 in Boston, closer to 75 inland. Certainly on the cool side for the month of July. Pretty comfortable tonight, low near 60 under a partly cloudy sky. Better with the clouds and the sun tomorrow. Highs will be in the 70s, lower 70s close to the coast, upper 70s in far western areas. Friday, full clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm at spot high 76. Really flip the switch and we wind up in a very summer-like pattern for the weekend. Sunshine and some clouds Saturday, 86 along the coast. Some spots, though, inland will get into the low 90s, and then most of us get into the 90s on Sunday. With a mix of sun and clouds, the exception being the south coast of Cape, where highs will still be in the 80s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
The difference a few hours will make right now. Not looking good at all. Clouds and fog here in Boston at 66 degrees. 8:55 on a Wednesday morning here on the Ring Central News Line. And Billy Joel, the piano man himself, his residency at Madison Square Garden temporarily on hold. Instead, tickles the Ivories on Long Island.
Yeah, that's good. He's taking really good. It's perfect to get piano. It's a shame to prove it.
part of the proof comes from the main streets of America.
Back in May, two stylists of Springfield, Missouri hair salon came down with COVID-19 but kept working for a week after symptoms first appeared, delivering haircuts, facial hair trimmings, and perms to 140 customers. Yet none of them got sick, and none of the 67 who accepted the offer of a free test tested positive. Here's why. The CDC suggests stylists and customers were wearing masks. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
There are more than 100 efforts right now to get a coronavirus vaccine onto the market, and the efforts of a local company are playing out almost to perfection. WBZ's Sherry Small tells us Moderna, based in Cambridge, says its results of an early-stage clinical trial are in, and they are spectacular.
Cambridge-based biotech Moderna is beginning late-stage trial testing of July 27th on its COVID-19 vaccine. The company moving full steam ahead after finding no safety concerns with the first phase of its testing. In fact, every one of the patients in the study showed the vaccine boosted an immune response. Vanderbilt University's Dr. William Schaffner.
The COVID vaccine might be a seasonal vaccine. That is, we have to get it each year. Fortunately, different from the influenza vaccine, because the virus changes so frequently, this virus so far has been pretty stable. So that part is good.
If the vaccine is approved by the FDA, the company says 1 billion doses could be available next year. Sherry Small, WBZ, Boston News Radio.
What is July 15th, and you know what that means? You don't? Well, that's why I'm here to remind you today is tax day. See, the calendar does not lie. This ends a 3-month grace period for filing your federal and Massachusetts state returns. So if you haven't done that already, WBC's Chris Fama tells us time is no longer on your side.
The feds extended the deadline due to the coronavirus on March 20th, and 1 week later, leaders on Beacon Hill followed suit.
We're filing legislation to extend the 2019 state individual tax filing and payment deadline from April 15th to July 15th.
But if your taxes aren't completed just yet, you still have time. You can, of course, file today or request an extension as much as another 3 months. But that, too, must be done by midnight tonight. The good news is, for those who have already filed, this year's refund will be larger, by 5% if you filed by June 30th. Now, there is some bad news. It may take some time to get your cash if you filed a paper return, as the IRS reports a massive backlog in the millions, with their employees working from home amid the outbreak. Chris Farmer, WBZ, Boston News Radio.
Still to come, Senator Elizabeth Warren taking a swipe at the Education Secretary.
I just can't.
War of words. We'll get into that in just a minute. It's 9:03. Out to the highways now. David Struffolino is watching the Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive. Traffic on the 3s.
So watching several delays to the west on Route 2 eastbound, a minor 2-car crash off to the right, about a quarter mile before Route 13 in Leominster. And brake lights on 190 northbound. We've been seeing delays getting through construction zone before exit 5. Route 9 eastbound stalls out getting by construction before or near Kingsbury Street in Wellesley. On the Pike West, state police checking on a possible crash before Route 128. South of the city, lower end of 93 northbound, sounds like a crash by Route 28 in Randolph. 24 is okay. 95 northbound has a few brake lights getting to Route 128 in Canton. Expressway is just under a 15-minute ride in either direction. Northbound has a few brake lights getting by Columbia Road. The southbound side is seeing some reduced speeds getting by Freeport Street. David Struffolino, WBZ, traffic on the 3s.
The fog and the clouds are pretty thick here in Boston this morning. 65 degrees right now. Not mid-July weather at all. In fact, it'll look a little bit more like the midsummer weather. Later this afternoon, as the sun comes out, it's just going to be a little bit cooler than we'd like to see this time of year. Temperatures only in the lower 70s. Bit of a break from the summertime heat is going to continue tomorrow, but we start to turn the jets on again on Friday with more clouds than the sun, and this upcoming weekend we'll be back into the 90s. We'll forget all about these cool days by then. 9:05, 65 degrees here in Boston. Senator Elizabeth Warren calls out Education Secretary Betsy DeVos for a lack of a plan when it comes to getting kids back to school this fall.
We need a Secretary of Education who's going to work with teachers and with states and with districts to try to develop reopening plans that actually work.
Here in Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker his preferred method is to get kids back in class, and that is the priority. He says he's expecting to hear from individual individual school districts about their specific plans in the coming weeks before the fall term begins. Also this morning, the Massachusetts Teachers Unions are out with a call for a phased-in reopening of schools instead. This plan, they say, would go in lockstep with the state's four-stage business reopening plans, which are now, for the most part, in phase 3. Well, now to the dinner table. Take a nice detour here, introducing the environmentally friendly Whopper.
Burger King has teamed up with top scientists to develop a diet for cows that produces less methane, greenhouse gas that traps the sun's heat and warms the planet. Study results show the new cow chow, heavy on lemongrass leaves, reduces methane by up to 33% a day during the last 3 to 4 months of a cow's life.
Cow ain't farting. Must be me.
Burgers are available in restaurants in Miami, New York, Boston, LA, and Portland, Oregon. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
One U-turn to another. How about this one? The search is now on for a young mystery musician who shows up at remarkable cleanouts, an antique store in Norwood. WBC TV's Julie McDonald says the young kid knocked the socks off the crowd.
The mystery musician dazzled the crowd and was on his way, but days later, fellow customers are still raving about his performance, and everyone agrees that piano belongs with him.
I said, well, give him the piano. Bring the kid in. We'll be more than happy to bring it to him, you know. But we can't find him. Can't find him. Nobody knows who this young man was.
If the gentleman has no space or use for the piano, Mark would love to pay him to play some more.
Especially in today's society, you know, everybody's on each other's nerves, and you can't blame them. It's just, you know, everybody's locked up. There's too much stuff going on in this life, you know what I mean? Let's loosen up, relax, chill out. You can use the piano, good. It's just a fun place, and that's the way I want it to be. Fun.
Still no sign of the piano prodigy. 9:08, and we're sneaking up onto opening bell time on Wall Street, and the numbers are out of sight. Let's check in with Bloomberg Business once again. Here's Tom Busby.
Yeah, things are really heating up on Wall Street. Jeff, Dow futures now up 470 points thanks to blowout earnings this morning from two Dow components, Goldman Sachs and United Healthcare, and with shares of Moderna soaring throughout the trading. That's on encouraging news about its COVID-19 vaccine. Oil is climbing higher too. It's near $41 a barrel. More Americans are hitting the road this summer, so U.S. crude stockpiles are down this week. And starting today, you're going to need a mask to get any service at all U.S. Starbucks and MassPike stores. A new requirement. I'm Tom Busby, Bloomberg Business on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Another problem for Boston is brewing, and it's compliments of your neighborhood mosquitoes. We'll tell you about the summer pests coming up next. It's 9:09.
Before you start sharing news you read about on Facebook, compare it to what you hear from reporters you can trust. You're only as smart as your source. Count on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Next Day Molded Doors and Stairs specializes in serving Boston's builders with interior finish millwork. Visit one of their stores in Braintree or Woburn, or call 781-843-6666 to place an order for immediate pickup or next day delivery. You can also place your order online at nextdaymolding.com. Providing industry-leading service, Next Day Molding Doors and Stairs has Boston's largest in-stock selection of moldings, boards, and stair parts. Visit online at nextdaymolding.com.
CertaPro Painters knows how important your home is to you. They're offering free remote estimates for both interior and exterior painting. You can show CertaPro Painters what you need painted right on your phone, receive an estimate prepared on the screen, and sign off virtually. CertaPro Painters gets the job done right while keeping your home safe. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned, operated, and based locally. Go to CertaPro.com to schedule a free remote estimate. That's Certa with a C. Proven and trusted experts in painting.
Hi, I'm James Pratt from Basement Technologies. If you've ever had water in your basement, it's likely to happen again. So stop the madness and call 1-800-BUSY-DOG. Our patented waterproofing systems keep moisture out of your basement, giving you more living space and increasing the value of your home. Call 1-800-BUSY-DOG and keep your basement dry for good. Call 1-800-BUSY-DOG. Never have to worry again.
At CDW, we get that migrating your business to a hyper-converged infrastructure is challenging.
Like me switching to decaf. Gotta do it, so I want to do it, but gotta do it.
Whoa, slow down, friend. CDW's experts can help you simplify the transition from legacy to hyper-converged infrastructure with Dell Technologies solutions that offer speed and agility.
Do it. Have you done it? Is it done yet? Why isn't it done yet?
IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/DellTech.
It's the perfect time for a powerful business refresh during Dell Technologies Cyber Savings Event. It starts now with up to 50% off high-performance Windows 10 business laptops, desktops, and servers, plus top-brand electronics. It's also your chance to streamline IT and simplify PC life cycles with PC as a service. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 10 Pro for business. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals. For more information about contests on WBZ, visit WBZ1030.com/rules.
Hi, it's Brenda, Burlington, Mass. I love my Brady Edition. When I wake up in the morning and have my coffee, it's the first room I go to. It is my most favorite room in the entire house.
To book a design session and take advantage of significant spring savings, visit us now at editionsbybrady.com.
Sports now on WBZ News Radio.
We're just over a week away from opening day for the Red Sox, but the question remains, who's going to be on the mound when the Sox take on the Orioles next Friday night? With Eduardo Rodriguez still battling back after testing positive for the coronavirus, all signs point towards Nathan Eovaldi. Manager Ron Renicky not quite ready to announce it yet, though.
I haven't said anything to him yet. That conversation will probably happen in the next day or two. You guys can figure out the numbers there. So, but I haven't said anything to Nate yet. So that conversation will happen in the next couple days.
So if we do the numbers like the manager says, Eovaldi will pitch again on Sunday, setting him up to take the ball opening day. The righty says he's feeling good.
I haven't been told anything yet. I just talked to Eddie. He says he's feeling great. It's just waiting for the negative test results. So we'll see what happens. I mean, either way, we're going to be ready to go.
Down at Disney, the Celtics back practicing after getting Kemba Walker expected to participate after missing the past two sessions. Dan Watkins, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
It's 9:13, and we check traffic and weather together every 10 minutes, so it's back out to the roadways right now. And the Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive traffic on the threes. We've had our work cut out for us this morning, Dave.
Yeah, we picked up a new problem south of the city, Jeff, on the lower end of 93 northbound. A medical emergency by Route 24, and there may be some curiosity delays getting by that. 24 itself is okay, though. 95 northbound has some brake lights for just about a half mile or so getting to the lower end of 128 in Canton. On the South Shore, Route 3 southbound stopped for almost 2 miles, getting by left lane guardrail work after Route 14 in Duxbury. Expressway southbound, reduced speeds around the gas tank and getting by Freeport Street. Northbound now, not bad. North of the city, 495 northbound is seeing delays getting by left lane restriction between exits 48 and 49 in Haverhill. West of the city, Route 9 eastbound delays getting by construction near Kingsbury Street in Wellesley. 190 north, we've been seeing delays getting through ongoing construction before exit 5. Around downtown, beginning of the Leopard down ramp bunches up at the top. Not terrible beyond that. Tobin Bridge, a 6-minute ride inbound. David Struffalino, WBZ traffic on the threes.
I just saw my shadow here in the Boston area, starting to see some sun breaking through these clouds here in Boston. The cloud cover is still thick, though, and the temperatures are still cool, 65 degrees right now. Some sunshine later on today, highs in the lower 70s.
This is WBZ News Radio 1030, where the news watch never stops.
Look out, here comes the heat. It's on the way this upcoming weekend. Couple of cool days before we get there, but we're talking 90s both Saturday and Sunday. It is Wednesday morning. We're halfway there. Good to have you with us. I'm Jeff Brown, and here are the 5 things you need to know at 9:15. Kids going back to class. That is the priority. That is the plan. Governor Charlie Baker, who would like to see some specific ideas from school districts in the coming weeks. Once considered optional, many say face masks are now essential. A new study in Boston shows wearing face coverings does go a long way in helping to stop the spread of COVID-19. Coronavirus, though, in overdrive. Most of the nation continues to report an increase in the number of daily infections, with Florida setting a record in its daily death toll. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions loses the Republican nomination in Alabama for his old Senate seat. Winds of change continue to blow at the State House after the State Senate passes its version of a bill that would dramatically change the face of policing in this state. WBC's Karen Riegel tells us police officers are are not entirely pleased with those plans.
Saying the Senate passed their version of police reform under cover of darkness. Reps of police unions and minority police organizations stood together and denounced the bill passed by the Senate. Eddie Crispin is president of the Massachusetts Association of Minority Law Enforcement Officers.
I stand here today as a black man who can unequivocally tell you that there is absolutely need for change in policing. But we cannot correct centuries of wrongdoing in a few weeks.
Police speaking here at the Boston Police Patrolmen Association HQ in Dorchester point out they worked with the Black and Latino Legislative Caucus to agree on a bill that bans chokeholds and would certify police officers. Karen Riegel, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
The House on Beacon Hill begins its debate next. While the issue of police brutality has become one of the top social issues in America in the week since George Floyd was killed during an attempted police arrest on the streets of Minneapolis. President Trump, though, inflames the racial tension by rejecting the notion that black Americans are more often targeted by officers. His comments in an interview with Catherine Herridge of CBS News.
Let's talk about George Floyd. You said George Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Why are African Americans still dying in the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way. More white people.
Numbers show that while more white Americans are killed by police overall, people of color are killed at higher rates. 9:17. The sun is trying to poke through these clouds in Boston. It's successful every once in a while, but the clouds are too thick right now. 65 degrees to the 70s and some sun this afternoon. Just 60 seconds in federal court, and it's a win for Attorney General Maura Healey after the White House abruptly pulls its plans to restrict foreign students from attending college this fall. WBC TV's Christina Rex with more on the impact of the White House 180.
Attorney General Maura Healey declares victory after the Trump administration backs down on a policy that would require international students to take classes in person in order to stay here in the U.S. The Trump administration canceled the strict policy after multiple lawsuits.
It's an attempt to put pressure on college universities to open up.
I think that the president had an idea that he wanted the country to appear in September that things were on the upswing. One way to do that would be to show that colleges and universities were open, students were back on campus. After a week of stress, students say they're grateful to be heading back to school, regardless of where they'll take class.
Healey led the effort of 17 states to challenge the White House on this case. Now, under the original plan, students already in the United States would have faced deportation if they did not leave voluntarily. More summertime problems for the city of Boston. Officials say West Nile virus has been found in Brighton from mosquitoes this past week. So far this summer, no reported cases of West Nile or Triple E in humans. And health officials say there is no elevated risk in Boston right now, but here come the annual warnings. People are being urged to use bug spray and wear long-sleeve shirts, long pants, especially around dusk and dawn. Mosquitoes are most active. $25 million gone after a judge says no to a planned settlement in a civil lawsuit against disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein.
A federal judge here in New York rejected the proposed $19 million settlement involving Harvey Weinstein, his now defunct studio, the Weinstein Company, the New York Attorney General's office, and a number of women who had accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct. The judge called it obnoxious that the settlement included a legal defense fund for Weinstein. The judge said it put his needs over the needs of victims. The New York Attorney General's office, which negotiated the proposed settlement, said it was studying the decision. Aaron Kitersky, ABC News, New York.
Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend is denied bail on charges that she recruited girls for Epstein to abuse sexually. Ghislaine Maxwell pleads not guilty during a video court hearing in New York federal court. She has been held without bail since being arrested at her $1 million New Hampshire estate and will likely be in jail for at least the next year while awaiting federal trial. Epstein killed himself last summer while awaiting charges on sex trafficking. A stolen piece of artwork from Banksy commemorating victims of a terror attack in Paris, now back home thanks to police in Italy.
Italian authorities had to British artist a month after discovering it hidden in a country attic. The artwork, a tribute to the 90 people killed by Islamic terrorists at the Bacalan Music Hall in 2015, went missing a year ago. The black image depicts the person warning and was painted on one of Bataclan's emergency exit doors. The Bataclan Concert Hall was part of a coordinated Islamic State attack that also targeted cafes and restaurants, with 130 people killed in all. Megan Williams, ABC News.
As safety measures ease,
Phase 1 is what we're calling start.
as businesses reopen,
Phase 2 is called cautious.
check with WBC News Radio.
Phase 3 is going to be called vigilant.
As this four-phase plan is implemented,
Phase 4 will be what we just call the new normal.
now more than ever, you need WBC, Boston's News Radio.
We make USAA insurance for members like Beth, a Navy veteran. She and her husband Larry might be old school, but they're made of curiosity to always try new things, like that cooking class, or skiing, and finally learning guitar, now that the kids are out of the house. So when Beth realized they were overpaying the insurance company they've been with for years, she and Larry thought they'd try another new thing, switching to USAA. USAA insurance is made the way Beth and Larry need it. Super knowledgeable agents who take the time to understand your coverage needs and help you find the savings you deserve. Switch and save with USAA Insurance. Get a quote today at USAA.com/insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Ability to receive a quote depends on membership eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates in San Antonio, Texas.
Kennedy Carpet, that's just a good start. Hi, I'm Jay Kennedy. Thinking about remodeling your kitchen, bath, or family room? Which sold lots of hardwood tile and sheet flooring, and now premium vinyl is taking over. This stuff is incredible. Toughness, nails, and pretty as a picture. It can look like tile or wood. It comes in lots of colors and styles, and our mobile showroom can bring it to your door. So come see premium vinyl, wood, carpet, or whatever flooring you need. For clean flooring or restoration, call or visit 888kennedy.com.
CNS Credit Union offers a local lending advantage from start to finish with 100% local decision-making on loans offered by knowledgeable bankers who are your neighbors. Keep your loan close to home. CNS Credit Union. Visit cnans.com. That's STANNES.com. Insured by NCUA.
It's 9:23. Let's check out your ride right now with the Subaru Retailers on New England all-wheel drive. Traffic on the 3s. Here's David Strompolino.
South of the city, the lower end of 93 northbound is kind of from Pontotoc to a medical emergency at Route 24, and then a few brake lights around the Braintree split. Route 3 southbound jammed almost 2.5 miles getting by left lane guardrail work after Route 14 in Duxbury, but okay, past that to the Sagamore Bridge, no backups either way at the bridge. Expressway southbound, some reduced speeds around the gas tank at Freeport Street. Northbound expressway, a 12-minute ride. North of the city, 495 north is hung up from Methuen into Haverhill because of a left lane restriction between exit 48 and 49. 93 south out of New Hampshire looks good. Route 3 looks good as well. A 20-minute ride from the state line of 128. On the commuter rail, Kingston Plymouth train 061, the 8:56 a.m. train from South Station, stopped near Braintree because of a crossing gate issue. It's 5 to 15 minutes behind schedule. David Strompolino, WBZ traffic on the 3s.
CBDBionaturals.com sponsors the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast. We check in again with meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Jeff, starting off with quite a few clouds. We have some drizzle and a couple of showers as well that are still around in the case of the morning hours. It is going to be cool for this time of year today with times of clouds and sun by the afternoon. A high near 70 in Boston, close to 75 inland. Hardly County comfortable tonight, low near 60. Interval of clouds and sun for tomorrow, only 71 downtown, but mid to upper 70s in many inland suburbs. Still hovering around 76 on Friday with more clouds and sun, while the rest for a shower and thunderstorm. When we flip a switch, and it is pretty hot this weekend with sun and some clouds. 86 for a high in the harbor on Saturday, but you don't have to go too far north or west, it'll be in the low 90s. And then it will be a hot and humid Sunday for most of the area with a mix of sun and clouds. Highs mostly in the low to mid 90s. Will be still in the 80s on the Cape and the South Coast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Well, maybe a little bit of sunshine, at least a little bit of brighter skies in Boston for the moment. 66 degrees. Hi, this is Jordan Ridge. New studies and testimonials are streaming in, describing how CBD Bionaturals helps with sleep and eases symptoms of many common health issues. Get the CBD that works. Visit CBDBionaturals.com.
CBDBionaturals.com. CBDBionaturals.com.
Looks like Wall Street is about to take off like a rocket. Let's check in with WBZ's financial editor, Dave Caruso, this morning. What's moving the market, Dave?
Well, we got a lot moving. Yesterday we had a lot of help from the banks, with maybe a few exceptions, like Wells Fargo. But looking today, same old status. Looks like Goldman Sachs came out and headed a charge, and boom, on your market set go. It was a little bit slower than earlier, but right now Dow looks to be up around 500, 550 or so. So that's solid. S&P up about 44, Nasdaq up 60. So that's looking to see the market say, hey, let's keep this thing going. So we also got a lot of economic reports coming out today. We got the Empire State Index up 17.2. That's its first positive reading since February, so that's some good news. Also, we've got a lot of talk about fiscal stimulus, so hopefully we'll see some of that coming through. Industrial production came out. Those numbers were actually very good. We've got the base corporate economic activity coming out at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and also we've got import prices. They actually were also good, so it looks like a lot of good news coming out this morning. No two ways about it. And we talk about the science. We've been continuing to talk about the vaccines, and to mention today was Moderna and COVID positive vaccines, so there's more positive results there. AstraZeneca's in there. On the flip side, not so great for the airlines. Delta's kind of trimming things. Branson's got a $1.5 billion package together, although we do see United Healthcare beating the earnings per share. So earnings keep coming, and let's hope they can continue that trend, because this morning are starting very well.
All right, Dave Caruso, thank you. Dow futures up about 500 points.
Hi, it's Jeff Cole, inviting you to visit our family-owned Yankee Custom Truck for American-made Westford and cargo liners. The ultimate protection for your vehicle in best defense against Mother Nature. At Yankee Custom, we feature the largest selection of parts and accessories for your car, truck, and SUV, including Texas tonneau covers with on-site installation, so you can buy today and drive away. Visit us at Yankee Custom in Tewksbury, Saugus, Brockton, Nashua, and South Florida.
Right parts, right now.
Constantly cleaning, proper social distancing, meets or exceeds all CDC guidelines, and you're good to go. Hey, look who's on the phone.
I just really hear from Commonwealth Motors, and yes, we are going to offer you a great deal on a new or used vehicle.
Right, Jim. Hondas, Chevrolet, Volkswagen, Kia, and Nissan will make your visit safe, secure, and make you very happy.
Right, guys. Very happy with our best price possible guarantee every day. Safely.
All our service departments are open and ready to serve you quickly and safely. Check in online or give us a call.
And we've got over 1,000 new and used vehicles on sale now. Check us out online or give us a call.
That's right, folks. We're here for all your automotive needs. Sales or service in a safe and comfortable environment.
Commonwealth Motors, safely located right on 495 in Lawrence.
Shop us last, you'll love us.
Or better yet, see us first. We'll make it fast, safe, simple, and a great deal too.
Find us fast at shopuslast.com.
Commonwealth Motors, we're with you for the long haul.
Tufts Medical Center, protecting you and your family while caring for your healthcare needs. More at tuftsmedicalcenter.org/save with us.
Post Road Carpet in Karastan. You made the right decision. Post Road Carpet for 2A and Acton. More than just great Karastan carpeting, it's a great design center. Post Road Carpet is COVID compliant.
Small businesses need a steady partner in today's changing world. That's Salesforce. Salesforce gives you sales, service, and marketing all on one secure platform, accessible from anywhere, so you can connect with your teams, share information, and automate processes. And best of all, we're here to help at any time with service, support, and proactive tips to help you grow. Form deeper connections with your customers, starting now. Try it for free at salesforce.com/SMB. That's salesforce.com/SMB.
Always live, always local. This is Boston's News Radio, WBZ 1030, an iHeart radio station.
9:30. Good morning. All of a sudden, a bit brighter skies and weeks of sunshine right now. That's a sign of things to come. Some sun a little bit later today will warm into the low to mid 70s for most of us. Right now, 66 and inching higher. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Jeff Brown. Welcome aboard. Here's what's happening. Phase 3 of the economic rebound in most of Massachusetts continues to roll along, and quite smoothly at that, with the coronavirus caseload in check. But the caution flag still flies in Somerville.
I'm really concerned that we're moving forward without pressing the pause button to fully measure and understand where we are in the pandemic's evolution.
Mayor Joe Curtatone makes it clear he feels his city is not out of the woods just yet. Somerville's next step comes on Monday. Meantime, Boston researchers at Mass General Brigham find that wearing face masks could go a long way to stopping coronavirus in its tracks. That is something the head of the CDC agrees with.
CDC Director Robert Redfield says masks are key to stopping the coronavirus.
If we could get everybody to wear a mask right now, I really do think over the next 4, 6, 8 weeks we can bring this epidemic under control.
Yesterday, Florida reported more than 9,000 new cases and a record